Hey everybody, welcome to Learning to Code with Scratch, the Scratch Toolbox Series, brought to you by Rise Robotics. This is going to be the Toolbox tutorial series. In this series, we'll actually take you through different ways to use Scratch effectively and efficiently to build games, displays, and so much more. While we will have some Scratch video series that help you build specific games, this series will be sharpening your toolbox, showing you different ways to do things that help you build the games but don't directly build a game for you. So let's dig in and get started. The first place we want to get started with is just getting into Scratch and starting the program. For those of you that have never used Scratch, this will be the first place to start. So what we're going to do, we're going to come up to our toolbar. We're going to type in scratch.mit.edu. And when we do, this will take us to the primary Scratch page. What's nice about this page is there's a lot of different things on here that'll help you get started. Obviously, you can sign up for an account, create an account. We're not going to do this in this section. Signing up for an account would allow you things like sharing your games with other people and being able to do some stuff that we're not necessarily going to do here in the tutorial for the education side of things. That's something that if you want to sign into an account, work with your parents, get that set up outside of school or outside of our program, and you can go ahead and go wild with that. We also are going to show you how to explore other games and get ideas. But in this tutorial, I just want to give you a basic overview of how you get started in Scratch. So the first thing we're going to do once we get here to the page, we're going to go ahead and click on Create. When we do that, you're going to see a bunch of things are going to come up. Up here at the top, you see Settings, File, Edit. There's Tutorials. You'll see our tutorial screen in the middle here. There's just some basic how to do stuff. We're going to close that for the moment. If you're really getting into Scratch, I strongly encourage you to go through those tutorials at a later date. But we're going to close that for now. So on the Scratch screen, you're going to see a number of different things. I'm going to move my screen down a little bit so we can get the entire Scratch screen where you guys can see it. Okay, so again, at the top, we have the Scratch logo right here in the top left corner. That will bring you back out to the main Scratch menu. You can do your settings here, file, save, and load, edit, again, tutorials, and debug your games. Right here, you're going to see three tabs. One is for our code blocks, which we'll get into in a minute. One is for various costumes or designs that your sprites can have, and we'll get into that again in a minute, and a way to edit, add, and modify sounds. But let's go back to code first. So when we click on this code tab, you'll see all these multicolored circles here. These are your sorted code block sections. So we have motion, looks, sound, events, and we'll get into all of these as we go through, but they're all broken down right here for you to easily be able to maneuver. The type of coding we're going to be doing in Scratch is called block-based coding. Why do we call it that? Because we're basically dragging and dropping blocks into our code editor. So for example, the very first block says move 10 steps. If I bring it over here, this area right here, you see me swinging around in, this is our code editor. This is where we edit code. Once I move a block in there, I can just click on that block, and my emulator over here, which is where you see our Scratch cat, this is letting you see a sample of the game. So if I want to see what the move 10 steps block would do, all I have to do is bring it over here into our code, click on it, and you see Scratch cat is moving across. These blocks in light blue are all of our different motion blocks. For example, if I want Sprite Cat to go to a random position in the emulator, I could bring this block out, click on it, and he'll jump around to a random position. Okay? I could tell him to go to a specific position. Right now he's in 139.49, but if I told this to be 100, if I told this to be 100 on the x-axis, 100 on the y-axis, and then I click on it, you see he moves. And we'll get in, again, we'll get into the x and y axis and a bunch of that stuff in later episodes. Again, the goal here for this episode is to simply show you where everything is so you can get started playing around. You have tabs that let you change the looks. So I can move 10 steps and then change his costume. So by changing his costume, if you see Scratch Cat over here, he's got two costumes, one with his legs out, one with his legs, it looks like he's running. If I click this, it looks like he's running across the screen. And that's how we can create some animation and some motion. You have a sound block, right? I can add a sound block in there. And this one actually will do play sound until done, and that's the meow. So now I click on 10 steps, and he moves. And you may not be able to hear the sound on your screen, but at the end it was playing the sound. Okay. We've got event blocks, and we'll get into this in a little bit more detail, but this is how we start various things from happening. Control blocks, which are our loops and our switches. And again, we'll get into more of that in later episodes. We've got our sensing block, where we can actually integrate when something touches a color or when a piece of information is added. We have operators, which allow us to do math and then basically be able to answer variable questions. We're actually able to create our own variables, which we'll do in some of the game design that we create. And then there are my blocks, which we'll definitely get into in the more advanced programming, which allows you to design your own custom drag and drop blocks. Okay. Again, I showed you costumes. I showed you where sounds can be modified. Again, where we see Scratch Cat here, this is our game emulator. We can make that full screen by going up here, clicking on that, and we can show our game in full screen. We can shrink it back down. This here is how we start our game. So let's say I had used an event block when green flag clicked. Okay, see how there's a green flag here? I click on the green flag. He'll move his 10 steps, and then we'll hear the meow. If this was a longer running program, you might want to have a stop in there to be able to do things. Depending on where you're working on the screen, right now it's set up to small stage, or sorry, it's set up to large stage. You can switch it over to small stage, which gives you more room to work with your code. Large stage gives you a bigger area to watch your game. A couple of things you are able to do here also is you can define the name of your characters, or what is called sprites. Again, like I said, it shows you the x-axis and the y-axis, and we'll get into that when I go through this staging area a little bit. Whether you want to have something be visible or not visible at the start of your game. You can also change the size of an item, the direction it faces, and down here where you see Sprite Cat 1, that will be where all your sprites are. And we'll get into what sprites are. And then where you create your backdrops and everything. So, and then over here, there's some area to add some add-ons, which can make your games much more dynamic. So hopefully this was a valuable way to get started. Play around with some of these blocks. Drag them out, click them, let Sprite Cat have some fun with the blocks that you show. In the next episode, we are going to start getting into each of these code tabs and taking a look at what these blocks do individually or as part of a simple activity that you're doing. So thank you for listening. This was step 1, introduction to Scratch. In step 2, we'll be going into more of the motion. So thanks for tuning in. Check into that next episode when it becomes available. Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in and watching our video today. Be sure to hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. Click that notification bell. It really helps out our channel.